In this video, we're going to talk about ellipses. We got horizontally looking ellipse and the vertical looking ellipse. If what's underneath X here is bigger, then we got the fat ones here. If underneath Y is bigger, we have the skinny ones that looks like this. Okay, let's go over some of the examples here. In this example, we got x squared over 25 plus y squared over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, so it is already in the standard form. So it's equal to 1. Make sure that it's equal to 1. So we got xy axis here. The center will be 0, 0. And then what's underneath x here? It's 25. Whatever that number is, you want to square root that. It's going to be 5. So it's underneath x. X determines left and right. So we're going to go right 5 units and then left 5 units from the center. So those are the vertices. And then underneath y squared, we have 4. So you want to square root that again. It's going to go up 2 and then down 2. Okay, so those are co-vertices. And then all you need to do is just make a squished circle looking thing. That's your ellipse here. Okay, so we have, you got to remember this too. C squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. A is the distance from the center to one of the vertices. So that's our A. A in our case would be 5 because that number 25 represents a square. B, on the other hand, it should be 2. That's 4 is b squared. Okay, whatever the bigger number, that's A. You don't have to worry about which one's A or B in ellipses because it's always going to be big number square, okay, minus smaller number. Okay, so B is the smaller number, A is a bigger number. Okay, now so that distance is our B. Now what is a C? If you find what C is, that's how far the foci are away from the center. Okay, so let's figure out what C is. So C squared is going to be equal to 25 minus 4. So C squared is going to be 21. C is square root of 21. Okay, so square root of 21 is, so approximately that's 4.6-ish. Okay, about. We need to know how far is that is about so that we could, pinpoint that. Okay, so that's going to be our 2 foci. So from here to there, that distance right there is square root of 21, and that square, that's also square root of 21. Okay, so we got from the center, you add square root of 21, comma 0, that's one of the foci, it's called that F1, right there. And let's say that F2, the second focus, would be negative square root of 21, comma 0. Let's move on to the second one here. This time we have this general equation. So let's complete the square for both. So 4x squared minus 8x plus y squared. I have a video about how to change general form into standard form. So if this is new to you, then go back and watch that. So y squared plus 4y. Then I'm going to move that constant to the right side, negative 4. Now, I need to factor 4 out first before I complete the square. So that's going to be 2x, leave some blank, plus y squared plus 4y. I'm going to put parentheses here, leave some blank, and then negative 4. Now I need to divide this by 2, so it's negative 1. Square that, it's plus 1. So you're going to add that. By adding 1, I added 4 times 1, so I'm going to add 4 here as well. Here, divided by 2, square that, which is 4. And then I have to add 4 here. Now, when you complete the square here, so it's 4 times x minus 1, the whole thing square, plus y plus 2, the whole thing square, is going to be cancels out. It's 4. Now, divided by 4 everywhere. So I have x minus 1 square plus y plus 2 square over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, let me get this out of the way now. Let's graph this now. So this is a standard form now. So the center from here is going to be 1 comma negative 2. Okay, so 1 negative 2, that's the center. So let me label that. Center will be 1 comma negative 2. Now what's underneath x value here? It's 1. So you're going to go left and right 1 unit. Okay, that's 2, that's 1. That's negative 1, negative 2. Now what's underneath y there? It's 4, so square root that, it's going to be 2. So you're going to go up 2, because it's underneath y, and down 2. Okay, what's bigger, 1 or 4? 4 is way larger than 1, so it's going to be a skinny one. It's going to be vertical ellipse, which means the major axis is over here. Okay, so it's going to be, the vertex is going to be, let's label that. We got 1 comma 0 and 1 comma, what is that? Negative 3, negative 4. Those are the vertices. Remember, vertices are always on the longer axis, which is major axis. And then co-vertices. Co-vertices are these 2 points right there. Let's label that. It's going to be 0 comma negative 2 and 2 comma negative 2 right there. Let's find the 2 foci. Remember, foci are always on the longer axis, so it should be here and here somewhere. Let's find that. Okay, so foci, it's going to be c squared is equal to bigger numbers, okay, minus smaller number. So c is going to be square root of 3. So it's away from the center. So it's that distance right there is going to be square root of 3. And same as here. Okay, which means from our center only y changes, so they're both gonna have 1. And it's going to be starting with negative 2. You want to go up and down square root of 3. So these are my foci and co-vertices and vertices. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This problem, we're given the center, focus, and vertex. So it'll be easier if we sketch it first. So we have the center at 0, 0. So let me mark that. 0, 0, and focus at 0 comma negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the focus. Okay, now since focus is over here, we know it's gonna be like a skinny ellipse. So vertex is at 0 comma 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our vertex. If there's a focus that's 4 units away from the center, this is 4 units, there's going to be another focus over here. So that's our another focus right there. And also vertex is at 0 comma 5. That means there's going to be a vertex, another vertex here at negative 5. Okay, so we could have another vertex at 0 comma negative 5. Okay, another focus at 0 comma 4. Okay, now C is how far the focus is away from the center. So it's going to be 4. That's our C. So C is going to be 4. A is going to be how far the vertex is away from the center. So it's going to be 5. Now let's find how far the what B is, how far the co-vertex is from the center. So C squared is going to be A squared minus B squared. So we have C squared 16, 4 times 4, and then A squared 25 minus B squared. That means B squared is going to be, if you move it over here, you move it over there, 25 minus 16, and B is going to be 3, okay, because this is going to be 9 square root that. That means 1, 2, 3 right, 1, 2, 3 left. Those are the co-vertices. So basically we have a ellipse that looks like that with focus inside. Okay, now let's come up with the equation. Since our vertex is 0, we're going to have x squared only. Underneath, we got 1, 2, 3. So 3 square that, it's going to be 9. Okay, remember, underneath x determines how you go right and left. So the distance, how much you go right and left, that distance square goes on the bottom here. And ellipse is always plus. Now y, since the center is 0, 0, it's y squared again over what we went up 5 and down 5. So you need to square that, 25, set it equal to 1. So this is our standard equation for this ellipse. Let's do another one. This time we're given full size at plus or minus 2 comma 0, and the length of major axis is 6. So let's graph or plot those points at least. So we got focus at 2, call that 2, negative 2. So these are our foci. And then length of a major axis. Remember, foci are always on the major axis. The length of the whole thing is 6. So which means the center will be at 0, 0 again. So let me label that. And then you go half of 6, which is 3. Those negative 3, those are my vertices now, because this length from here to there must be 6. Okay. Now, what else we got? Oh, C, we know it's how far the focus is away from the center. So C is going to be 2. And then A is the how far the vertex is from the center. So that's going to be 3. So we got C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared again. Okay. So C squared is 4. It's going to be A squared is going to be 9 minus B squared. Now B squared, move it over, subtract 4, we're going to have 5. So B is going to be equal to plus or minus radical 5. Okay? So radical 5 is about, let me see, 2.2-ish. That means we're going to go up 2.2 much, so somewhere here, down 2.2 much, somewhere here. So that has a 0 comma what? Radical 5 on top. This is 0 comma negative square root of 5. So we have a ellipse that looks like this. This is only a rough sketch, by the way. Now let's come up with the equation. Since the center is at 0, 0, so we got x squared and then y squared here. It's going to be plus in between. Underneath x is how much it's away from the right side, okay, or left side. It's 3 away. So we square that. It's going to be 9. How much do we go up? We went up square root of 5. So square that, it's going to be 5. You put it there. Set it equal to 1. So that's the standard equation for this ellipse.